Ladies and creatures and gentlemen, welcome back to the podcast show for the Average Joe. This is your host, Mitchell Roulaine. This is The Wrestling Diaries. Check us out on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Leave a review so it can show up in more algorithms. Go to YouTube for the video content. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Hit the notification bell for more content. The notification bell is boom, right there where my finger points. We release once a week these episodes. They come out twice, technically. Tuesday audio, video Wednesday. So be looking out for that. And today, my special guest is Mr. Michael Swann.
Oh, wait. I can't applaud myself.
It's okay.
That's quite rude.
We put in an audience thing, so it actually sounds like we have a studio audience. We don't.
Thank God.
Or maybe we do. Who knows?
Well, we need all the canned laughter and clapping that we can get.
So Michael Swann, that's a pretty cool name. It's almost kind of like a wrestler's name.
I'm okay with it.
Michael Swann.
Yeah. All right with it.
Hi. So to tell people how we are connected, because obviously we're meeting each other for the first time, which is I do this with a lot of guests, but we have a mutual friend.
We do.
Lynette Brasher. Shout out, Lynette. Thank you so much for referring Michael over to us. And let me ask you this,
She's
man.
Very sweet.
She's a super sweetheart and super fun. She's a super fun, funny, laughs a lot.
She's no fun.
She's no fun at all.
She's no fun at all.
That's what he said. You're no fun.
Yeah, sorry.
Too bad, Lynette.
Stick in the mud.
Stick in the mud. So initially when I reached out to you about the podcast, what were you thinking? What made you actually want to do this and meet a complete stranger?
I did not want to do it.
You didn't. Why are you here, man? why are you sitting here right now?
No, I mean, I was just, if Lynette did it and said you were cool, I was like, okay, that's fine. I don't really know why, not that interesting.
I just want to say, I saw this guy's van. He does graphic art design, and this van is...
Well, the van...
The mystery machine was super jealous.
The van deserves its own podcast.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really...
Let's pull it in here.
The way it goes. I mean, you should definitely put in a few pictures of it with applause.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Before you leave today, I want to get a selfie with you next to the van. So I'll put that on social medias.
That'll work.
Yeah, that'd be pretty. Something I want to say real quick and point out. I was thinking of this, and now it's really in my head. I was like, this guy kind of sounds like some celebrity, and I can't put my finger on it. And now I know who it is.
Who is
you
it?
sound like all right. Go ahead, man. Do it. Do the all right thing.
I do not do impressions.
You don't do impressions?
No.
Have you ever gotten that?
I will not. You know what? One time, and it was
Matthew McConaughey.
It was about a week ago that someone said that.
Yeah. How did that come about?
We spoke on the phone before we met.
Yeah.
This film production crew filmed in Tarrant City on Halloween night. And they contacted me and used my building for their makeup and that kind of stuff.
Is this the movie this isn't the one that Bruce Willis was doing?
No. This is an independent film. I'm not even sure of the name of it. They'll let me know when they're finished and everything. But the lady who contacted me, she said the same thing. And I was like,
oh my gosh, you sound like Matthew McConaughey.
That's crazy.
It is. You have, you definitely can hear the Southern in your voice, but it's not like a, hey, y'all, Michael Swann. It's not that. It's like this kind of cowboy, like you're a cow. And that's how Matthew McConaughey he talks. It's like Southern Velvet.
But I've never been on a horse. So,
hey, man. Hey, you could do voiceover work.
Of course, it's Southern, but I grew up in Alabama.
Yeah. So. Well, I mean, I don't really have a Southern draw, and I grew up here, so I guess I missed the.
Well, mine was a lot thicker when I was younger.
Yeah. I feel like I went to West Blockton High School when I was a teenager, and everybody there talked with like a Southern accent, and I pretended. I put a little bit more twang in my voice just so I could fit in. It was like it was like this weird subconscious thing. I was like, "Yeah, man, it was just subtle." And I remember, I look back and I'm like, "Man, what? That's insanity!" Like I was literally faking the way I talked to try to fit in more with these people.
West Block,
and it's pretty funny stuff.
I used to airbrush T-shirts for their band.
Oh, really? Doing like the Tigers, the Fighting Tigers?
Well, I would do.
Blockton Tigers.
Every year we would go out and sell T-shirts to high school bands. and we would paint trumpets, and everybody would get their own personalized shirt.
Yeah.
Not airbrush, trombones, tubas, trumpets, all that stuff, and then their name on the back. I just remember West Blockton was one of them.
Yeah. So to give people a quick play-by-play of you, you are a graphic design artist.
I am not.
No.
I do a little bit of graphic design, but not much. I make my living from pinstriping motorcycles and hot rods.
Okay.
That's not really considered graphic art. Graphic art is more design-based, and it's computer-based and advertising, logos, ads, that kind of thing.
Okay.
That's more graphic design. Pinstriping is it's been around, the hot rod culture for since the
flames.
60s. Yeah, flames and these old school symmetrical abstract designs, with different colors, and it kind of filtrated into the motorcycle world. So I travel to Harley rallies and hot rod shows all around the South, and occasionally a van show.
Yeah.
And I pinstripe on the spot. They'll just pull their bike in, kind of tell me what they want. So I'll either do the old school pinstriping designs, or flames, or if they want skulls, I can do that. Or if they want lettering, I can do that. Sometimes they want gold leaf or silver leaf design, so I can do that kind of stuff. So that's what I do. And then I do portraiture in oil or charcoal.
Okay.
And then I do, my own artwork. It keeps me quite busy.
And then we were talking about how you do music. What's that all about?
Well, it's about pain and suffering.
That all music is, man. That's what makes it good.
No, I'm a guitar player.
Okay.
And when I graduated college, we started a band and did it for about 25 years.
Mm-hmm. What was the band?
Then I stopped. Oh, there were a bunch of bands.
Oh, okay. I see.
But I'm just a rock guitar player.
How long have you been playing
average
guitar?
For a very long time. I should be really good, but I'm not. I'm just kind of technically I'm just kind of quite average, and but it's a lot of fun. And I stopped playing for almost 20 years, and then a buddy of mine put together a project, and he asked me if I would play on it, and he was saying this will be a great lineup. And so what we did, we just kind of recorded separately, and we did a whole album, and I'd never really even met the other members besides my buddy. And then we had lunch, and we all got together and decided to start, rehearsing and doing a few shows. We're called Billiards.
Billiards.
Okay. with an exclamation point at the end.
Okay.
Billiards. And
that's how you have to say it.
So we've played the Nick a few times. That's it. And we've been recording, and the bass player and the guitar player are really good songwriters.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of fun. It kind of brought that joy back, because I stopped playing for quite a while.
Are you mutually exclusive to just playing the guitar? Or do you play other instruments outside of it?
No, I'm quite committed to the guitar.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah. I have a ukulele that I bang around with a little bit, but and I have a bass, but mostly guitar.
What do you think, and maybe they're not, but do you have one that's more important to you in your life? The pinstriping
Guitars?
Or the music?
Oh, well, pinstriping is something that I really enjoy, and I make my living from it. And I made my living for years playing the guitar.
Mm-hmm.
So I really got tired of the business of music.
Okay.
And so I switched to, the visual arts.
I gotcha. What's for people wondering though, like what's the deal with the business and the music? Like, why did you get tired of that? What's it like for somebody listening to this?
Have you ever dealt with a record company?
No, absolutely not.
Well,
so anybody wondering, like, explain to them.
Well, it's the story of these bands are really no different than millions of other bands. Maybe not millions, but hundreds of thousands of other bands where you get, you work and write and record and tour and play, and you build up to where you get a record deal, and then that happens, and then you think it's you're great. This is going to go quite well, and you're happy, and then the record companies will lie to you. They'll hold out tour support until the very last minute, and you'll be stressed out about that, and then then your records flop. And it might not be that they're horrible records, but it takes promotion. It takes a lot of things.
Yeah.
And so that's what happened. We just didn't sell a lot of records. And
I was talking to somebody earlier about this. It's actually kind of ironic, but just about the record industry, like the label industry, and how cutthroat it can be. But then also about how, like, in the generation we live in, this digital generation.
Well, yeah, and my experiences were before that. We, it was before you had GarageBand in every, on every computer that Mac sold.
Yeah,
and so the industry has changed a lot in that you can record, in this room and get a fairly decent sounding
without ever getting signed.
Track. It might not sound like a record, but you could get a really good demo.
Yeah,
in a room like this, and then some people, put them out as records.
Yeah, I guess it really depends on what people's forte is about it, right? Because some people, if they're just fine with like playing music and their phone is recording it, and they're on YouTube and they've got a million subscribers, and that's their musical life, and they don't go on tour and they don't have a record label, but that's their. But I guess for some people that are old school or people that don't like that specifically, I guess it kind of creates a different narrative.
Yeah, when we were signed, there was no Facebook. I mean, MySpace was just coming on board, so there were like chat boards and all that stuff was very new. So we didn't have the social media machine.
Yeah. The platform.
And I'm not saying that's a bad thing or a good thing. It's just the way it was. It was the timing of it. But, when you put a record out and, record companies, and they'll put out a bunch of stuff, and then whatever they see sticking to the wall, that's what they get behind. So they may tell you, oh, we're going to spend $100,000 on your video. And then you get all ready, and then they go, oh, well, no, we changed our mind. We're not going to make a video at all.
Yikes.
Or we're going to spend this much on promotions with radio stations, even though that's illegal. It still happens, but, they'll say they're going to spend this much, and, we want you to tour doing this, and then we'll do this. And then so you go out on tour and do your part, and then they, decide to pull back for whatever reason. And, it could be that we just weren't that good. Really.
What kind of, what genre of music do you do?
Just rock.
Just regular rock?
Yeah, just straight ahead.
Nice.
I can't play jazz or anything like that. I'm not that complicated.
You ever played any death metal?
No, I'm not that good. I have friends who do. I played on some records by a band called Maylene and the Sons of Disaster.
Oh, holy shit,
Matt. I mean, they're not death metal or anything, but they were pretty heavy.
They're like Southern post-core.
Yeah.
That's like their title.
I played all the slide guitar on their first 3 records.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy, Matt. Yeah, we kind of... I personally don't know him, but we were affiliated with Dallas, the front man. And he's actually was good friends with a friend of mine, Jason, shout out. He's living in Arkansas now. But our friend Jason was in the music video for the first single they did. God, I don't remember what it was called, but it was filmed in like a barn or something. Yeah, they had like a circle pit going or something. Yeah, my friend Jason was in that.
Yeah, I still got a t-shirt of them hanging up in the closet still.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, still listen to their first record all the time.
Yeah,
they used to play at Cave 9. Do you remember that venue downtown?
Yeah, I remember that place.
And it got to the point where they got so big. Their last show there was people. There's lines of people outside. And I think didn't they shut down Cave 9 for that specific show, Matt? And then they couldn't play there anymore because they're just too big. Do you remember that?
I don't know if it was them or someone like that genre, but it was like 700 people showed up.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Maylene after they signed to like Ferret or something.
Yeah, they're a great band.
Are they even still around anymore?
No.
I know Dallas got into like a horrible accident.
Into an accident. Yeah, they've been broken up for a while, but I mean, it's really his project. So I mean, if he wanted to do a record, it would be a Maylene and the Sons of Disaster record.
Yeah. That band was really. I liked them better than Under Oath, which he was
Did
in.
you? Yeah.
A lot of friends are gonna listen to that. Like, what?
But that's
you,
that's the
Mitchell.
heaviest records I ever played on.
That's cool.
And
though,
it was mostly,
I love the connection here.
the second and third record were members of different bands and musicians from Tarrant, and they recorded at a studio in Tarrant called Synchromesh. And so that's how I got that gig,
Yeah, being in bands and stuff, I imagine you've done a lot of touring around and traveling, right? Have you ever been outside the States?
Not the United States. No, we've never toured. We almost went to Canada and Europe, but we never did. But just about every state in the country, though. A lot of touring around here.
That's crazy. What are your, I guess, future ambitions for music now? You just want to do it just for fun? Do you have,
I have no ambition?
No ambition whatsoever.
No.
You just kind of pick it up and play.
I'm
the
quite
guitars.
lazy. No, this band, we just do it for fun, and that's the good thing about it, because if someone can't
no
rehearse,
pressure.
If someone can't rehearse, no one's going to get upset. You're just like, okay, well, we'll do it next time. During the pandemic, we recorded a lot of cover songs, and everybody would just record in their house and email the tracks to each other, and it was great. And we did some originals that way as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's just for fun.
That's good though, man. Because you can express your art in that way and have fun with your friends and bandmates, and there's no pressure to do anything.
And they're all really good. So I mean, you can you get together and I mess up more than anyone, but you don't have to worry about if the drummer's going to mess up or anything. He's top notch. They're top notch. They all are.
I'm playing this scenario in my head right now, where somebody comes in, they're just hearing you all play your music for the first time, and they're like, "Oh my God, you guys are really good. You should do. You could be signed." And then you're like, get out of here. Yeah, been there, done that.
We're all in our late 50s, except for one. One guy's like 46. He's the young punk of the band.
How about that?
Yeah,
you always got to have
one.
one.
Guys, yeah. Exactly.
Keep showing your toes, man. What kind of bands did you listen to growing up? Like, what got you into just rock and roll specifically? What stands out to you?
I'm a Beatles fanatic.
Oh,
I'm one of those boring Beatles men. No, I love the Beatles. That was what hooked me, and I listened to them exclusively for 30 years. No, I did listen to them exclusively for a while, but then I started listening to the Allman Brothers.
Nice.
And B.B. King, Atlanta Rhythm Section, that kind of stuff, and Southern stuff. When you're growing up, I was in the late 70s.
Yeah,
and started playing guitar around 79. My buddy Rusty had one, and I was shocked that he had one. Like, well, let's start a band.
Yeah, dude.
And so, but yeah, and Allman Brothers. Beatles,
CCR.
Stones.
You never got the CCR?
Yeah, I mean, I like them, but I'm not, I wouldn't rush out and buy their records.
Gotcha.
I mean, you hear them on the radio every, 2 minutes, so I know all the stuff, but
yeah,
just normal stuff. And now I listen to Dawes, and I listen to Rooney. I listen to, a lot of classic stuff.
Do you like Leon Bridges? Ever heard any of his stuff? He's kind of like a new artist that tries to sound like the old school, like Smokey Robinson.
Oh, really? No,
he has that kind of feel.
Really familiar.
Pretty good. I feel like you'd like
trying to
that.
think of what the Replacements. Love them. Elvis Costello. I just like good music.
Elvis Costello,
Steely Dan. I mean, it's like I like a lot of a good variety of stuff.
Is there any, I ask a lot of people that I've had on this podcast that are musically inclined or musicians or musical artists, but like what people that know you, is there any music that that you kind of deviate off of your general consensus of music to where people will be like, oh, wow, Michael likes that? That's odd.
I don't think so. I mean, quite normal. I mean, I was just listening to Loretta Lynn on the way over here.
Okay. Okay, so you no guilty pleasures?
No.
Or what was it Josh Bradford said? There is no guilty pleasures in music, man. They're all pleasures.
As I've grown older, I think I appreciate more, of different genres.
Yeah.
You know, when I was younger, I probably would have never listened to Loretta Lynn, and you know, but now it's it's awesome.
Yeah, it's same
It's
here.
crazy good, you know, and a lot of the old country stuff that I would, back then wouldn't have, just because I was young and cocky, wouldn't have listened to. But now I'm just like, man, I was such an idiot. I never listened to Velvet Underground until Lou Reed died. And then I was like, I'm going to listen to Lou Reed. And then I couldn't take it. So I was like, I'll try the Underground. And I just love it.
Oh,
love it.
Cool, man. It's a true fan.
I keep going. Am I clipping the mic? It keeps going out a little bit. At least in my can. Okay.
Oh, okay. So what outside of your music and your doing your art stuff, what else do you do? What else turns you on? And
I do nothing else.
Nothing else outside of that? So that's literally everything?
I do nothing else.
Oh, something I was going to ask
The
you.
van.
The van. You work on the van.
Yeah.
You don't live down by the river, do you? You get that one?
Not yet.
In a van
that might be next.
On the pinstriping thing, I was going to ask you, is it always exclusively with like vehicles? Does anybody get that done like on a house or like a building?
Well, I mean, I've done a nightclub. Inside a nightclub, I do a pinstripe guitars a lot.
Okay. I guess it's
pinstripe cubs.
The bigger market is probably vehicles, I imagine.
The market is the biggest market is vehicles. Definitely. Wow. But I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, I'll pinstripe that rack right there.
What do you think will look good on it? As an artist, just looking at it, what do you envision looking on that rack?
Well, I mean, I would envision. Well, let me get to know you a little bit better, and then I'll decide.
Yeah,
but no, with pinstriping, I tend to keep it simple.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like to, overdo it. So just a nice, clean, simple design. I just make it up as I go.
Like a less is more.
Like a less is more design. But the pinstriping brushes do particular moves, and so you can do an infinite amount of designs just based off those few moves. So I just kind of make things up as I go based on, what the customers want, maybe certain colors or, the shape of an object, like I would do a different design on that rack as I would on this circular table.
Mm-hmm.
It really just all depends.
Yeah. It's what's in your head, what you feel like you're moving at the moment. Tell me about like your painting. You said you do portrait art, right?
I do. I do portraiture.
Portraiture. What's that?
Portraits.
Okay.
Portraits
Just
of
portraits.
people.
Okay.
Of children. And
that's actually, it's so crazy. I've
people
never,
in general.
That's the first time I'm living under a rock. First time I've ever heard that.
What, that term?
Yeah.
Portraiture?
Yeah.
Yeah. I like doing them. I enjoy it. And then, with my creative work, not the work I do for myself, it varies. I do, sometimes I'll do figurative work, which is nudes and that type of work.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'll do, more of a stream of consciousness kind of just kind of make things up as I go. And, or I'll have a, theme or something that I might, a loosely based theme and do artwork based on that. Maybe inspired by a line to a song.
Yeah.
Just kind of make things up and just see what happens.
Sweet. And you, Lynette was telling me that you have a really badass like art studio.
Well,
tell everybody listening about that one.
I have a badass art studio. No, I mean, I've got a commercial building in Tarrant, and
that's where you live, Tarrant.
Mm-hmm. And I live in the upstairs loft, and I've got a painting studio and a little section where I'll airbrush to keep the overspray out. I have a little room for that because I airbrush on motorcycles,
right?
That kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's a old building, with exposed brick and exposed, electrical pipes and everything, and not pipes, but exposed electrical.
Yeah,
and we renovated it over the years here and there, and then the downstairs I had rented to a church for 17 years.
Oh wow!
And it was a photo lab for 40 or 50 years. But now I have an art gallery down there. It's not really an official art gallery. It's it's just my building, and I let people have art shows there from time to time.
Dude, that's kick ass.
Yes, it's really a lot of fun.
Would you ever be open to us doing one of our on the street shows there and like film, like showing your art and whatnot?
If this thing comes off well, yeah. Let's see how we do.
I think it's pretty good, man.
Yeah,
so far, so good.
Yeah, I mean, and we show, and the gallery is not for me to show. I mean, I've shown a little bit, and I'll have a show in the future, but it's really about other artists. Mm-hmm. And we had an opening last night, actually, for an artist named Melissa Yes, and it was fabulous.
What kind of work does Melissa do?
Oh my God. She does video installations. She does paintings. She does textile.
Okay.
You should come out and see it.
I would love to.
It's something else.
This stuff fascinates me. I'm not good at producing it myself, but I'm definitely a consumer. Yeah. I love it.
And, we show a lot of Birmingham artists, and, we have had one guy from New York come down and show, and then we're talking to other regional artists about it as well. Have
you ever done the Birmingham art crawl when that used to be a thing?
I never did the art crawl, but I've done art walk from time to time. But I never did the art crawl.
What's the art walk?
Art walk, it happens once a year.
Okay.
Around September.
It's in Birmingham.
Everybody's, they have a certain section of downtown where everybody sets up and work. They work with the businesses, and they'll let an artist come in there, and so it's just for a weekend.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's really good. And then crowds, big crowds come out and check out art.
Yeah, and all the vendors are set up.
Everybody
have stuff to sell things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been to.
You can sell work.
Not that one specifically, but I've been to a couple of like little deals like that. And the art crawl was one of the ones I've been to several times. Me and Matt actually. But it was super awesome. Just getting to see people. People out there making jewelry, sculptures.
Birmingham has a great art community.
I agree.
And I mean, we have another new gallery called Scott Miller Projects. He's bringing in national and international artists. It's over on Morris Avenue. And we have the ground floor contemporary. And they're great. They have a lot of really compelling shows. And then, UAB has a really crazy good faculty. They all produce a lot of work. It's a pretty big crowd, and everybody gets along well. It seems to, at least, from my perspective. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's great.
Being in the art world, because obviously you were an
I'm
artist.
Not really in the art world, but
in so many ways. Like you do so many things with art, whether it's music or actual painting and creating things. Is there ever like a point like in your life where you're like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. Like this is what speaks to me, sings to me. And at this point now, from this point on, this is what I'm going to do. Or did it just kind of like, ease into that?
Well, it's all I've ever done.
Since when? Like when did it start? How early back?
Well, I started airbrushing in 78 and started doing it as a job in 79 when I was a teenager. And so I've always just done either art or music. And, I think if I had my way full, just do whatever, it would just be creating my own work all the time. Just painting or printmaking, things like that. But, everything, that's what I do. All of it's really pretty much all encompassing.
Yeah. Is your family like a bunch of artists? Do you think it comes from that?
Well, I have a cousin who is an illustrator who, would influence me when I was young, and she's a musician as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So she was a big influence. My brother's creative. He's a mechanical engineer, but he can play guitar and draw, and he was an influence. And, and then I've just surrounded myself with, people like that. I have a lot of artist friends, a lot of musician friends.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you? So our mutual friend Lynette Lackey. How did you meet that lady? What's the
I have
story?
no idea.
You have no
Lynette, and no clue.
I didn't tell him to say any of this, Lynette. This is all on him.
No, I met her at Daniel Day Galleries. I was seeing.
It's kind of sad they shut down. I understood why they did.
Yeah, but. I was actually sitting with my cousin, who I was just speaking of.
Okay.
And Lynette, came traipsing around the room and met her.
Okay.
Met a bunch of people that day. It was a lot of fun.
Did you Margaret Walter Wilson?
I do know
Margot and the
I
Cat's
do.
Meow.
I
Actually,
do
I
know
think
her.
it's just Margot now. Yeah.
Both.
It's both.
They do gigs both ways.
Are you going to the Viking party?
I don't know if I'll go this year, but I have been to it many times.
Oh, dude, you gotta come.
Yeah.
I'm hosting an episode of the show
you are?
there at the
All right.
at the Viking
All right.
party. It's going to be called the Viking Diaries.
I like it. When is it this year? When is it?
So it's November 13th, which is Saturday, starting at 8 p.m.
Oh, I'll be out of town.
Oh, well. Whoopsies.
Maybe if my trip gets canceled, perhaps I'll show.
Are you going out of town for your work, for your doing pinstripe stuff?
For a car show, yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
That's so. Do you ride motorcycles? That was another thing I was
do
gonna
not.
ask you.
I've never been on one in my life.
But you pinstripe the hell out of them.
That is correct.
Well, when I get a motorcycle, man, I know who to call. You put some flames on my Prius. Matt, can you imagine that Prius having flames on it? What do you think of that?
I have pinstriped a
Make it
Prius
look
before.
really fast.
Yeah.
It'll make it
Way
look
faster than
fast.
it's supposed to go.
Yeah,
Exactly.
oh, yeah.
I've pinstriped. I've put flames on quite a few modern cars.
Oh my God. What's the weirdest thing, in your opinion, that you've ever pinstriped that you're like, I'm going to do this, obviously, but this is a little odd.
Nothing really stands out as weird. I mean,
Or unusual.
I've done physics equations on the side of motorcycles and molecules, and I've done
That's cool.
portrait of Jesus holding a motorcycle in his hand.
Excellent.
People want all kind of things.
Do anybody ever ask you if anything like profane, like, I need a huge wiener on the side of my truck here?
Yeah, then they usually back out if I agree to it. And I've had people, request things that I refuse to paint.
Okay. Can I ask, what is it?
Well,
what do you
quite
refuse?
racist things.
Okay. Yeah.
And it was just, I'm not doing that.
It's good to have standards, sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, come on.
Yeah, right. Who would do something like that?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Well, that's cool, man. You're a very interesting guy, Michael. You are.
No,
You are. No, I don't have scrubs on the show.
True, yeah.
Ask Matt. Matt, there's no scrubs on the show, right? I don't have scrubs on this show.
Oh, I didn't know we could curse.
Yeah, absolutely. Dude, yeah. Go have a party with it.
Well, I can't. I don't want to do that. My mother might listen.
Oh, hey.
Sorry, Mom.
Miss Swann, if that's your last name, I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Hey,
That is
actually,
she's
Matt
awesome.
bleeps out the cuss words, so it's
Okay.
fine.
Yeah.
So if I say,
Yeah, no, my mother
right
is
there.
My
He bleeps
mother
that.
is my mother is really, really great. I've been lucky that I had great parents.
Excellent.
Yeah. Which they always told me just whatever you want, whatever makes you happy. They never pressured me to do anything. Like as far as getting a job for money.
Yeah.
They never once did that.
I think
They
that's
sent me to college and said, do whatever you want.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of kids turn out really well that way, because then sometimes when you're trying to micromanage them or be like, hey, don't do this. Well, kids are very rebellious. So they're going to do exactly the
Right.
opposite of what you're telling them.
Yeah, well, they
And
never.
and of course there's sides to every coin. So sometimes I'm sure parents also being super open and their kids go out and become murderers and stuff too.
Well,
so I just don't want to
I wouldn't say they were open. I mean, I still had
Exclusively.
rules and
Right.
things that I had to do.
but they let you be free.
they
express yourself.
encouraged me to do whatever I want.
Yeah, that's good. It's good to
And they never said, you have to be a lawyer.
Yeah.
It's a good thing because I'm not that smart. So
Yeah, I could never be a lawyer either. I don't even understand half
screw
that goes
that.
on there. Mr. Michael
Honey.
Swann.
Honey,
You having fun so far, man?
sure, I am.
Excellent.
Very relaxing.
Yeah, I mean, it really is, dude. I had a friend who was on the show not too long ago. Scott, if you listen to this, shout out, bro. He didn't want to be on the show initially. I asked him. He wasn't into it. I was like, okay, cool. I don't pressure people. I don't twist arms or any of that stuff.
Mhm.
And then we had a mutual friend that we used to work with that was on the show. This really awesome guy named Alonzo. And then Scott watched that show or listened to it. And then he messaged me and he was like, hey, is that offer still on the table? I was like, absolutely, man. If I can get you in, I'm not booked up, we'll get you in. And then I asked him, I was like, why did you change your mind? He's like, well, I had an idea of what I thought it was going to be like. And it wasn't anything like, I don't know, like I thought you were going to ask me all these questions. Like, I mean, you do ask questions, but I thought it was like, I don't know what I was thinking, man. He's like, but I listened to the episode with Alonzo and he's like, it was almost like this like portal opened up and I could see a conversation between two people that I shouldn't have been able to. And you guys are just shooting the breeze and you got pretty deep about stuff in life and all that stuff. And I was like, oh, damn, I could do that. I like that. And I was like, cool. And so he ended up coming on the show and he put on a hell of a performance.
Yeah.
If you want to even call it. This is my art.
Right, sure.
This is the way I express myself as an artist doing the show.
I did not look into what you were doing because I did not want to have any expectations.
That's good.
From you or, I didn't want to sit there and try to, pre-plan answers and think of what questions you might have and all that. So I think this is a lot better.
It is better because the way this show goes, I try to make it as organic as possible. Obviously, we have lights in our face, a camera, and then these microphones here, and it's being recorded.
Yeah.
But like, I wanted to emulate something like if I just met you at a show and we're having a beer together. I'm like, hey man, I'm Mitchell. Nice to meet you, Michael. What's up with you? We're just talking and people really
get it.
People really love that. I like witnessing that. I like seeing because it's so real. We live in a world that's so
organic. Organic's the good word.
That's right.
Yeah.
Get all your fruits and vegetables organic, ladies and gents.
I used that word last night, actually.
Yeah. But yeah, man, I'm glad you're enjoying it. So now, after I've kind of like loosened people up, I try to see if I can take them a little bit deeper. Right. The name of this podcast is The Wrestling Diaries.
I'm a simpleton.
You're a simpleton?
Yes.
Okay.
You're only going to get so deep.
Hey, that's fine, man. Hey, as deep as you're willing to go or you can go, it doesn't matter. But I ask people like what they wrestle with because I'd like to know like what people struggle with. Is it similar to what I'm struggling with? And then other people listening to the show like, hey, that's what I'm struggling with, or I never thought of that, or blah, blah, blah. So what are some of the things or whatever that you personally wrestle with? What are the monsters in your closet and under your bed?
Well, I mean, in the grand scheme, I wrestle very little. I have a pretty easy life. If I want to,
you seem pretty chill.
If I want, I am pretty chill. I am pretty chill. But I mean, like anyone else who has a lot of activities, I wrestle with time management, project management, stress of getting things done, and I'll put a lot of stress on myself for that. I'll be like, I need to get this done by this day. And then if I don't do it, then I'll stress out about it. And, things like that. I mean, I've got a pretty easy existence.
Nice.
I keep it simple. I do keep it simple.
Do you coin yourself as like a perfectionist type person?
No.
Like you?
I do not.
Okay.
Not at all. Pretty easy breezy.
Easy.
I mean, I want to do good work and I want my work to improve.
Mm-hmm.
I want my art to improve. I struggle with that. But I mean, on the grand scheme, that's nothing. Nobody really cares about my personal struggle with the quality of my art. They just don't, and that's fine. But stuff like that.
What scenario would you find as if you could open your eyes and oh my gosh, this is a catastrophe happening right now based on the life that you're living now? What would that look like?
Oh my word.
He's gonna be like, this guy's making
you want me to imagine a catastrophe? I mean,
this guy's making me think of terrible things.
My cat could die. I mean, come on, Bob.
You have a cat?
I do. Banksy.
You'll have a Banksy. Okay.
Banksy,
after the famous graffiti artist.
That's
like it, man. I have a Banksy hanging up in my bedroom wall right now.
Oh, you do?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, it's worth a mint.
Heck yeah, man. Well, it's not an original. Obviously, it's a copy. I bought it at a coffee shop for like $500.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have an answer to that. I mean, a million things can go wrong with your life and it can become a catastrophe, but I don't sit around and dwell on it or think about it. I really don't.
That's good.
I just stay very, very busy.
You think that's
I'm
what
overwhelmed with work and projects at all times.
Mm-hmm. Do you like it that way?
All times.
Do you like being so
I
busy?
must, because I continue to do it. I continue to take on things, and I continue to have the desire to work and to create stuff.
Yeah.
I've got a show coming up at my own gallery next year, and so I'm already stressing out about that.
Okay.
You know, but you know, I mean, I've got a pretty easy life.
You really do.
But I work hard.
Mm-hmm.
I have, good friends, people who pretend to like me. And I mean, I'm.
Oh my God.
I mean, I've never had an addiction. I don't drink or, do pot.
No, you're addicted to art.
That's
your drug, man.
I guess I'm addicted to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Workaholic. Do you ever have moments though where you wake up and you're like, oh,
well, I mean, everybody, everyone does. Everyone gets depressed or gets down about certain things, and I'm no exception to that.
But never to the point where it's so deep to where you're like, I just want to walk away.
No,
okay,
no, not at all. When I travel, sometimes I'll feel a sense of relief when I'm driving out of town because I know I can't really do anything about the many things I'm leaving.
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of stuff, but I mean, I get down like everybody, but I just don't let it, keep me that way.
Yeah. You're very occupied. It's like I said earlier, idle hands are the devil's workshop. So I feel like this could just not apply to you at all because you are so busy. I don't know what your mission is, but you're doing a lot of stuff. You're pumping out a lot of stuff.
No mission other than survival, I mean, really. I mean,
basic
it's just
survival.
it's just get through it.
I've got to say, man, I don't know if you'll take this as a compliment or as an insult or nothing at all, but like
an insult.
You are one of the most just laid back, simple. You really are.
I am a simpleton,
and I feel like people use that as a negative connotation, but it's really you live a very simple life.
Feel like
you do your art, you do your work, you eat,
I feel like a worker bee sometimes, but I am, laid back. I'm pretty laid back.
If you were a worker bee though, you would be by yourself in your own hive though, because you're not like a drone working for some queen. Like you are the queen or the king of your existence, whatever you want to call. I like just listening to like you talk about all this stuff and thinking about it. Like I like to visualize when people are telling me about the things they do, and it's almost exhausting. It makes me exhausted. Well, I used to think I did a lot of stuff.
You probably do.
I'm not so sure now.
You probably do.
I gotta do more, man.
Well,
I gotta fill up my gaps.
My next project that I'm thinking about that I just thought about is a Christmas rose. And back in the day, my grandmother always wanted me to airbrush her a shirt with a rose on it for Christmas. That was like, just give me a shirt with it. Paint me a shirt with a rose.
Yeah.
And so about 21 years ago, I decided to, instead of making her a shirt, I decided to do a print. And I don't know if you're familiar with printmaking, but it includes linoleum cutting, wood cuts, etchings, collagraphs, any type of transfer method. And so I did an etching, and then I did a small run of an edition of prints and just gave them to family and friends. And so I do about 20 every year, and I do it every year. And I distribute it to people that are in my life, come in and out of my life.
Wow.
And so I've got to do that fairly soon. And every year I do a different process and a different image of a rose. And it's all, because of my grandmother.
Nice. That's super cool, dude.
Yeah.
Super deep and poetic and sweet.
No, it's not deep, but
yeah, it is. It is. I think it's deep.
No, it's a project I really like. Yeah. And, I think maybe when I get to 25, maybe I'll do a little book or something.
That's kick-ass, dude.
Yeah.
I got to see this, too.
Yeah.
It just sounds fascinating.
I'll send you some images.
Please do. So I usually ask a couple other questions outside of the wrestling thing that kind of relates to it, like things that involve telephone time machines and talking to yourself from the past when you need a conversation with your younger self. But I almost feel like your conversation with your younger self would be...
Oh, no. I mean, I've made a lot of mistakes.
Yeah? Well, if you could call yourself at the peak of those mistakes where you feel like that Michael needs a conversation with the older, wiser Michael, which Michael do you call in the past, and what do you say to this kid?
I would say, no rock and roll. Go to grad school.
Go to grad school? Why? Why go to grad school?
I don't know. I think I've divided my time with all these different passions.
Yeah.
I think if I would have honed in on one, I would be great at one rather than average at a lot of them.
Okay.
That whole scenario.
That's what you tell them. No music, no rock and roll.
No rock and roll.
Go back to college. Beauty school dropout.
Exactly.
Go back to high school.
I'm sure there's a lot more that I would do, but I can't recall at the moment.
Yeah. At the end of the day, though, man, what kind of legacy, if you even feel like you have something that you would want to leave behind in your absence in this world? Like, what do they etch into your stone? What's written in your eulogy? What songs do people sing? And what poems do they recite about Michael Swann?
There will be no legacy. It'll just be, okay, he was a nice guy. We gotta go to work.
Spoken like a true artist, ladies and gentlemen.
I mean, it's, I don't see that. I don't really think about it. Hopefully I'm not as much as an ass I was when I was young.
Okay.
So maybe I can improve on that, which hopefully I have.
That's what they'll say.
We'll see.
Michael, he was
a little bit nicer.
He was not as much
I'm
of
really
a
not. I'm a nice person, but I've made mistakes along the way.
Sure. We all have. Yeah. Dude, this has been cool. This has been an experience, man. I love getting new people in here that I'm just meeting for the first time. But what's great is like, because you're so laid back and chill, like this is like, obviously I just met you for the first time, but this was a more comfortable podcast. I get people in here, especially the ones that I meet for the first time, they're pretty nervous. And even if you were nervous, I couldn't tell.
I like to talk about myself.
Well, hey, everybody, they say...
I'm kidding. People really do.
I felt like I read an article that people innately do like to talk about themselves, and it's not necessarily this narcissistic thing. It's like an expressions. They want to express who they are as an individual.
I mean, the best way to have a conversation is to ask someone about themselves.
Amen, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Been doing that for years in the clubs.
Dude, you're hilarious.
I spent a lot of nights in venues and,
yeah,
a lot of time. And
you live a very interesting life, Michael.
I don't know about that.
I think so. In my opinion, it matters of all opinions, doesn't it, Matt? Matt's like, this freaking idiot. So
nothing like your friends to bring you down, right?
Yeah, right. That's why you have to have really good friends to pull you down off your cloud.
Oh yeah, I have those too. My friends
doofus.
mess with me constantly.
Yeah,
constantly.
Well, so anybody listening to this podcast, let's say right now, some young impressionable minds listen to this podcast and like, oh, this guy's interesting. What could he tell me to do for my future to live a better, more productive, more awesome life? What would you say to this young kid listening right now?
Do the work.
Do the work. Do the work.
That's simple.
What is that quote? Do the things and they shall be done.
Do the things.
Do the things and they shall be done. Dude, I've had fun on this podcast.
Yeah,
I've had fun. This is like pretty cool.
I have.
Before I sign us off, I wanted to get you to promote.
Has it been an hour?
I think so. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Has it been like about an hour now, Matt? Close to it. Yeah. My internal clock.
I just keep moving in this chair.
My internal clock works pretty well. I've done this so many times. I can just feel it. I can feel it edging up inside of me. Like, oh, about time to wrap it up.
Is that boring?
No, you're not boring at all. But let me get you to promote your stuff, man. Your art. How can people find you if somebody wants to get a pinstripe? What's up?
SwannGraphics.com.
SwannGraphics.com.
That's with 2 N's. Swann, SWANN.
Matt, respell his name because I know you spelled it with 1 N.
And michaelswann.net for my work.
Your personal artwork stuff. Okay.
Yep. That's it.
There you go, ladies and gents.
Facebook, Instagram.
Yeah, I'll
Twitter.
I'll post some links.
TikTok.
On the are you
all
on TikTok?
Of that stuff. Well, I have a TikTok account. Okay. I wouldn't say I'm on TikTok.
Look at you getting up there with the cool kids.
I do work for Barber Motorsports Museum.
Okay.
And
nice.
One day I was over there working, and she came over. Their media person came over and said she was going to do a TikTok video of me
Mhm.
working, and so she was like, "You have to get a TikTok."
Okay.
And so I was like, "Yes, ma'am."
That's cool. Yeah, our little street interviews that we're going to start doing, they're probably going to start going on TikTok because they're like short form questions and stuff like that. We'll see what happens with that.
Yeah.
Go viral. Dude, thank you so much for being on the show,
Yeah,
man. I really
man.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
I'd love to do it again sometime, especially
All
when, about the street interviews. If
Yeah.
we could come into your
Sure.
studio and check it out,
Yeah.
that'd be awesome.
No, it's a really cool space.
Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
love to see it, man.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Michael.
Anytime.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Ladies and creatures and gentlemen, I hope everybody enjoyed this episode. Michael Swann is a really cool and interesting guy. He's as cool as the other side of the pillow, Matthew McConaughey style. All right. When it comes to art, and art can be so many different things. Like I look at me doing this podcast as art, right? And this is the way I express myself. So how do you express yourself? How do you feel the most free? And how busy are you? Like, that whole quote, the idle hands are the devil's workshop, is a really good quote, because like when you're just sitting there, you become like, still water becomes stagnant. So don't become stagnant. Get out there and make something. Do something for yourself, and hopefully it'll give value to the world. That'll be pretty cool. Check us out, as always, on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. Leave us a review. Go to YouTube for the video content, The Wrestling Diaries. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to get updated when we're releasing stuff. This is a really cool podcast. At some point in the future, if you're keeping up when we do these like street diary interviews, we'll probably see Michael in his awesome museum, his personal museum at his home, and see all of his cool artwork. And thanks again, Michael, for being on the show. And
Thank you.
Tell me, ladies and gents, what do you wrestle with, and how can you beat it? One love.